Big hello to all my fellow Ireland-Canada Business Association members. It's funny old time at the moment. I hope you're all keeping well and staying healthy, which is the main thing. Tough going for any of us that are involved in tourism or travel or hospitality businesses particularly. But you know, we're looking to next year and hopefully a breakthrough with this pandemic happening soon. So the Irish Open Golf Tournament has been rearranged this week for Galgorm Castle in Northern Ireland. So it's great to see that it's going ahead. And I got to catch up with Des Smyth, who's a legendary Irish golfer, yesterday to chat about the Irish Open and some other things. And I noticed there is a sole Canadian entered in the tournament, a guy by the name of Aaron Cockrell from the Stony Mountain area close to Winnipeg. And he's an interesting story. He qualified on the in the qualifying school in November of last year, 2019. So he's come through the hard way, and he's having an interesting first season with all the disruption, but he seems to be doing pretty well, and I'd like to wish him the very best of luck in the Irish Open this week, along with all the other Irish players, of course. The other thing that I talked to Des Smyth about in the video that's coming up is the rebranded Legends Tour, which is the tour now for the European seniors. And they have created some really interesting corporate hospitality options and playing options for amateurs that would allow amateurs to play in the event along with the pros. So more details to follow, and it might present an interesting opportunity for any of you that are interested in golf and particularly interested in a very rare golf experience. So hope you're all keeping well and hope to see you in person soon. First of all, thanks a million for doing this. We really appreciate it. It's just
no problem
to be able to help out, and
yeah,
it's fantastic. Some win for DeChambeau, like that was just astonishing what he did, you know.
Yeah, he seems to be changing the face of the game right now. Whether people are happy about it or not, I'm not sure. Everyone's got different opinions, but you know, his nickname is the Scientist, and he's come up with his own ideas. Listen, they're working for him.
Yeah, you know, the interesting thing was I was talking to Mark Gannon there earlier this morning, and you know, Mark was commenting on the touch he had around the greens, because when he did miss, and he missed a few times, he played some unbelievable short game stuff.
Yeah, he seems to have an awful lot. It's not like he's just a slam bam type. I mean, not only his pitching, but his putting is fantastic.
Sure, yeah, no, he's got the full range. There's no doubt. So he'll be the hot favourite for Augusta, no doubt.
Yeah, that's for sure. DeChambeau, as it turned out, was the only player in the field to break par, so it gave you some indication of how difficult the course was.
He's only 21, so he'll have plenty more chances.
He will, yeah, maybe. Although I love to see things like that happening, you know, I think it helps the game.
Sure.
Anything new and refreshing like that, and he is another new and very talented player.
Absolutely. So speaking of talented players, your good friend and my Golf Ireland colleague Mark Gannon, you guys come up through the amateur ranks together, and Mark has been always renowned for his short game. I'm lucky. I get to play with Mark quite regularly, so I can see how good he is. But I didn't get to see him in his heyday. You did, so you know, just how good was he when he was at the height of his
I know Mark and I grew up together as kids. I mean, we hung out as junior golfers, and we played boys golf together, and we played for Leinster together, and we played for Ireland together. So our early part of both of our careers, we played a lot of golf together. No, Mark was a very formidable player. I mean, he wasn't the longest at the time, but year on year he kept getting longer. But of course, the outstanding part of his game was his short game. He was a brilliant short game exponent, and he played all the shots coming from County Louth. You know, his pitch and run game was brilliant. His bunker play was excellent, and he certainly was one of the best putters around at that time.
Sure, absolutely. Well, it's still evident when he's playing social golf.
Yeah,
that's for sure. So yeah, the Irish Open is this week up in Galgorm Castle. You're probably heading up there this week too.
I'm going up on Wednesday. Yeah, I'm official ambassador to the tournament for Dubai Duty Free.
Sure.
So I'm doing a bit of PR work and a bit of television work.
It's fantastic that Dubai Duty Free have come up trumps to allow the tournament to happen. So it's going to be very different from a normal Irish Open week, obviously behind closed doors. So what are your expectations for the weekdays? What are players saying about the lack of fans?
Yeah, well, I think they've come to terms with it now. It's a difficulty. I mean, you saw it at the US Open last week. It's been the same in Europe. They've played about eight or nine tournaments in Europe, and most of them are behind closed doors. But they're running a very tight ship. I mean, you enter a bubble. I've been tested just last week, got the all clear, thank goodness. And then when I arrive on Wednesday, I get tested again. And that's the same for all the players and caddies. Mm-hmm. And once you enter that bubble, you're not allowed to leave it until the tournament's over. So, yeah, it's very different. But we're lucky. We've got Padraig Harrington, the current Ryder Cup captain, playing. And Shane is flown in last night. Brilliant. And he's going to play. So that's going to give it a great status. And we've lots of other top players playing. No, look, it's very different. I mean, this whole year is going to be very different.
Absolutely. There's no doubt.
The players are keen to get on with it, and they're very keen to play golf tournaments so they can develop their careers.
Sure, absolutely. I was just looking at the list this morning of entrants, and it's impressive. And I see George Courtsia is on the list, and he's got form coming in from last week. So, who do you fancy for this week? Is anybody kind of catching your eye as maybe?
Well, I'm picking the obvious one. I think Shane is the obvious favourite. I mean, if you watched him play the US Open last week, he played a lot of great golf. But if you look at his numbers, I think he had something like 3 triple bogeys. Now, that's 9 shots and 3 holes gone. Sure. So, you look at his total and you think, he played great golf in between. So I wouldn't be a bit surprised. And the fact that he's back on home soil, it always seems to have a positive effect on him.
Sure, absolutely. No, he's very, very, very proud to play in Ireland and for Ireland. There's no doubt. As you're well aware, the European Tour have done a new joint venture with Ryan Howsam and Staysure to rebrand your circuit as the Legends Tour. So it looks like a great format. It's a new venture. Everybody's very excited about it. What's your own take on it?
Well, I think we've played it before. You have the Dunhill Links, which is a very similar event. We've played a number of events on the Staysure Tour like it. But I think the big difference is they're bringing on a lot of big names now, because the likes of Montgomery and Paul McGinley and others have joined the senior ranks in recent years, and they're just bringing a different aspect to it, in that they're official ambassadors for the tour, and then they're going to bring more celebrity because of their high profile. There's more celebrity figures going to come in and get involved. So they'll be slightly different, more like the Dunhill Links, I suppose.
And for the amateurs, so for the rest of us that can only watch on in jealousy at how you guys play the game. So what's it like for the amateurs inside the ropes at the Dunhill Links event?
I think it's very exciting. And the slight difference in this, it appears, I don't know how it's going to be fully played, but it looks like it's 2 pros and 2 amateurs, as opposed to 1 pro and 3.
Sure.
That was the old format. They're going to have 2 pros, 2 amateurs. So it's more of a 4-ball feel, rather than, say, amateurs are used to playing in pro-ams, 3 of them, and there might have been a bit of an aloofness from the pro. But this format, 2 pros, 2 ams, bit like a 4-ball, more time to have a chat, tell stories, talk about their own lives and their own businesses, along with what happened to the high-profile players they're playing with.
Sure. The Irish Legends event next August is at Rosapenna on the old course, so that's you can see the 17th hole in my background.
Yeah, lovely. In fact, I've never been to Rosapenna, so I've heard a lot about it here. It's a great place.
It's fabulous. It really is. And I think the old course has the history, and it's a different test to it's a different test, and I think they'll really, really enjoy it. Before I let you go, and I suppose especially now that you're retired, so if you could only play one game of golf again, where would you play it, and who else would be in your fourball?
It's an interesting one because lots of things go spiraling around your head when you ask that question. Should you say play with your family? Should you say play with your best mate? Should you? You're not sure what to say.
Well, how about if I make it easy for you? How about if I said that you could have two games, one with, we'll say, some of your peers or famous names from golf, and the second with your family.
Well, put it like this: I've played with a lot of famous people, and I've always enjoyed that part of it. But I suppose the fourballs that I enjoyed so much back in the day, Lord Red Christie Jr., who left us a few years ago, on the Tuesday at tour events, there'd always be an Irish fourball. It was probably who could take on Christie and Eamon. And myself and Jimmy Hegarty did it a few times, and Paul McGinley and I, and John McHenry and I. So when I look back, I look back at those Tuesday fourballs with great fondness, and I can assure you they sharpened your game up for the event.
Absolutely, I can imagine they did all right.
And the course I think I'd pick, probably my favourite course, is Birkdale.
Really? Okay, good choice. Yeah, it's a stunner, all right. Des, look, you've been really good with your time this morning, and I know you've got a busy schedule this week with the Irish Open coming up. So, look, good luck with your role at the Irish Open this week. I hope we see an Irish winner, and I hope we see a great tournament.
Yeah, I hope so too, Joe, and thanks for the call.
All right, thanks, Des. Cheers.
Take care.
Right,
Thank you.